Did you have a backup plan, or did you have anything else you wanted to do? Or
it's funny. I went to uni. I did acoustics at uni. So for a
Is
while,
that a subject?
Yeah, it's science physics.
Oh, okay, right.
So it's kind of like I just did a physics degree, which was a bit.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be creative, but it kind of wasn't. But that was kind of for a while. That was my backup plan. But I finished, and I didn't really. I realised that I wanted to make music in that time. So it was a bit like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Because I'd kind of resigned myself, even though I had a degree. I was like, I'd kind of resigned myself to this is what I wanted to do, and this is what I was, and I was gonna do it somehow, regardless. So I don't know what my backup. Maybe I would have just. I don't know what it would have been.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone travelling because I kind of part of the reason that there's lots of reasons I wanted to do it, but I wanted to go travel. I wanted to travel around the world, and I wanted to see. I didn't want to live a normal life.
Yeah.
That's why I make music, because I didn't want a normal life.
Where's that come from there?
I don't know. I come from a tiny little town. For 4 or 5 years of my life, I lived in a village with 100 people in it.
Right.
And I just was sick. I just didn't want. I wanted to escape. And I think when you're somewhere that small, you either do one or two things. You become very escapist, or you become very kind of drawn to the small town mentality. And I was just desperate for it. Like, I was baiting to go to uni. As soon as I went to uni, I was like, right, bang.
Yeah. Did you go to uni in Manchester?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and still to this day, it's like I don't crave a normal life. I don't want to. And it's this funny thing with your friends. You have the people around you. You kind of. We had a difficult time when people drifted away because you can't really communicate that you don't want this to people. It's very difficult.
Is that wanting to experience sort of the world and all its splendour, or is that wanting to be famous?
Wanting to experience the world and see and do things that are amazing, and not just sit and let things pass you by.
Yeah,
I had a really distressing period when just after in that in between stage between bands, when I realised that I'd basically sacrificed everything to try and make music, and I was incapable of doing anything else. I realised I was like compulsively bound to just looking at a computer screen all day and trying to write songs, which was a very uncomfortable feeling, because I realised I had no backup plan. I had nothing else to do. So for me, that kind of idea that it was a last chance was really like, I was very aware of that. Yeah. So it was a horrible period of insecurity, really.
Yeah.
One thing that came after that period when we were a bit lost, is this amazing realisation. I remember this amazing realisation that it was a mixture of being comfortable and being confident, and it only became because we realised with Hurts that we just were going to do what was natural to us, like visually or musically or whatever, what was natural to us. And you hit this amazing point where you just realise what you can do and what you can't do, and all of a sudden you become comfortable in it. And we realised over the course of making the album that we can't write other songs, so these are the type of songs we write, so we have to just stand by them because that's all we can do. You can't dream of doing something else or feeling inadequate. You just go, okay, so my brain works like this is the type of songs I can write, and then you go, and then you learn to be very comfortable with that, and in doing so you just learn to be confident, because you can't not be, because you kind of lose your way a bit. So I remember feeling like that and just relaxing a lot, and then not dreaming of some creative destination that wasn't there. Just being very comfortable with the fact that this is who we were, and this is the music we could do, so you might as well believe in it.
I mean, I think it's really interesting with Hurts that I think you're sort of the first new band to come along in a while that really sort of pays attention to detail and all the trimmings and trappings of all that makes pop music great.
I think some of that comes from the early part of Hurts, when kind of we were a bit disillusioned with, obviously we've been chasing a dream for a long time, and we were definitely burnt out. And I think our idea was to, with Hurts, get our shop completely in order. So we wanted to kind of finish an album before we even thought about anything like a record deal. And that extended to to everything, the way we looked. We made a video ourselves.
Yeah.
We wanted to kind of get the control back. I think it was definitely about regaining control, and I think that's really helped us.
And to please ourselves, finally, not have to please everybody else.
Yeah.
Sit and go, just do it all and be happy with yourself, and then when you move forward, it'll be easier. And also, in the easiest, simplest way, that's what is inspiring. Like in bands, like people who do everything. Like there's no reason. There's no sort of like puzzle as to why Michael Jackson was the biggest pop star ever.
Yeah.
Because he did everything and everybody was excited about it, and he made amazing videos and he was this amazing person and he wrote these great big pop songs that travelled the world, and that is what I've never really. That's the music that connected me from when I was like a baby, and all the way through my life. The common thread is this escape and this excitement with pop music, and for us it was like, what? How could you not do it all? How could you be complacent?
You were confused by people who wouldn't sort of follow that model.
And throughout the period we'd met record companies, and they'd go, no one really has an idea about visually what they want to look like or what they want the videos to be like. I go, and I'm like, what do they do then?
Yeah.
Just kind of come in and go, you do that.
Yeah.
It baffles me a little bit, because if you are who you are and you make stuff for a living, or you make stuff, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Well, you might as well.
Well, obviously, being within like the framework of a record label, you must occasionally have people who try and tell you what to do. Is that hard to? How do you deal with that?
Well, luckily, I mean, we chose a label that recognised that we had a very clear, distinct vision for everything,
right? And
they've just been supportive. But I guess maybe that is a fresh idea for a record label. Maybe it's a good thing, because they're so used to having to kind of manufacture various parts of a pop act, and with us they don't have to worry about it so much because they trust us. So it's a relationship built on trust, and that's why we went with them.
Yeah, and it's a great fit. What you go into it, and you're really very wary when you meet record companies. You're like, oh, is it going to be like this? Are they going to push and pull you apart?
Yeah.
And it was a real revelation when we found out that they'd not like that. For us, it was just like, wow, like we can do this, and I think it's if everybody believes in it, and you are just what you are, and everyone just believes in what that is.
Yeah.
You can just, it's kind of cool. I mean, look, we're very lucky, I think, but we wouldn't have it any other way. We would have rather just left it and done it all ourselves anyway, I think, as opposed to give parts of it away.